All right. Good evening. Today is Monday, April 3rd. It's 6:04, and I'm convening the meeting of the City of Keystone Heights Council meeting. I would like all of you to join us tonight. We have Pastor Rick Ergel of Cross Point Church who will give us our invocation, and it'll be followed by the Pledge of Allegiance being led by George Owens of the American Legion Post 202. Would you like to come to the podium, please? Will you all stand?
Father, we thank you for being so gracious and good and kind to us. Thank you for creating such a beautiful and special place for us to live. We thank you for this community, all of the benefits and all of the beauty. We thank you for the fine people that surround this community. We thank you for the opportunity to come and intercede for this council and this meeting tonight. I do pray that you might give wisdom to everyone that's here, that you might give insight and cooperation and unity and harmony to everything that's said and done. I pray that you might build this community to be a light on a hill. Lord, you put us in a very strategic place between two big places, and we can make a great impact on being an example to all of our friends and neighbors all around us. So be with us here tonight and plan and charge and direct and guide everything for your glory. We pray in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Ms. Rakowski, will you call roll, please?
Mayor Lake,
Here.
Vice Mayor Hart,
Here.
Councilman Bobby Brown,
Here.
Councilman Tony Brown,
Here.
Councilwoman Thompson.
Here.
You have a quorum, Madam Mayor.
Excellent. I'm going to ask council to rise and come forward. We have a proclamation today. And Mr. Conkey, would you come forward? If you would, be in the middle, be in the center. Historically speaking, April is Water Conservation Month. Mr. Conkey is with St. John's River Water Management District, and he is here to receive the proclamation. City of Keystone Heights designating April as Water Conservation Month. Whereas water is a basic and essential need of every living creature, and whereas the state of Florida, water management districts, and the City of Keystone Heights are working together to increase awareness about the importance of water conservation, and whereas the City of Keystone Heights and the state of Florida has designated April, typically a dry month when water demands are most acute, Florida's Water Conservation Month, to educate citizens about how they can help save Florida's precious water resources, and whereas the City of Keystone Heights has always encouraged and supported water conservation through various educational programs and special events, and whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can make a difference when it comes to conserving water, and whereas every business, industry, school, and citizen can help by saving water and thus promote a healthy economy and community, and whereas leak prevention is commonly thought to be the first step in conserving water, the City of Keystone Heights will encourage citizens and businesses to focus on fixing leaks. Now, therefore, be it resolved that by the virtue of the authority vested in me as mayor of the City of Keystone Heights, do hereby proclaim the month of April as Water Conservation Month. The City of Keystone Heights, Florida is calling upon each citizen and business to help protect our precious resources by practicing water-saving measures and becoming more aware of the need to save water. For this, the 25th year of Water Conservation Month, there will be a special focus on fixing leaks and all forms of water loss. Council, I present you with a proclamation. Is there a motion? Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. So, Mr. Conkey, I would like to present you with your proclamation. If you have some words of wisdom about water conservation, you have a 3-minute limit because I've heard you speak before. Go ahead, do you have any words?
Yes. Picture then words.
Picture first and words.
Picture first and words.
Perfect.
Okay, words of wisdom.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you so much for this water proclamation. It is the 25th year that the state of Florida has declared the people as Water Conservation Month. And of course, the theme is leak detection this year. But I say, let's be greedy. Let's make every month Water Conservation Month. It's very important that we sustain our water supply. The average household is going to leak about 10,000 gallons of water a year. As you walk around the house throughout the year, you hear that drip, drip, drip. Those drops add up. 10% of those homes, on average, are going to leak more than 90 gallons a day in that process. The good news, it's easily correctable. And in doing that, you are going to save yourself 10% on your water bill. Sign me up for saving money. Then you go outside to enjoy your nice outside, the yard, have a picnic. And we recognize that most homes in the state of Florida, more than 50% of the water used is outside the house, typically with irrigation, with the yard, and your landscaping. A 1/32 of an inch leak in your irrigation system is going to leak 6,300 gallons of water a month. So this is an essential. Water conservation is the most important action we will take to protect and sustain our water supplies. It's also the cheapest version of things we can do. Obviously, it's a multi-pronged process to protect and grow or sustain our water supplies. Obviously, there's a small project I'm trying to think of. It's a water resource project that you drive by when you're coming on down here. That in 2 years will be bringing water to Lake Brooklyn, a critical recharge area. Rob Bradley, as chairman of the board, has undertaken leadership activities to plug unused and abandoned artesian wells. The first year of that plan to pick up that cost resulted in a 5-fold increase in wells being plugged and 24.2 million gallons of water a day being saved. So cumulatively, it's a multi-pronged process that we all play in. Leak detection is very important. And I want to thank you again for your support of water conservation in this very beautiful area surrounded by some beautiful water bodies. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now I'm back to work.
Next on the agenda is public comments. Do you have any public comment cards, Ms. Rakowski?
I have none.
Okay. Agenda item 3, the consent agenda, which includes the February financials, the February payables, and the meeting minutes from the February meeting. Is there a motion to move all 3 at one time, please?
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. We're up to appointments. We have 4 appointments to make. I see there are some individuals here for those appointments, right, Ms. Rakowski?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
So what is the will of the board? Do you want to take?
Mayor, I'd like to hold off on the first 2 until we get to discuss the city business under airport, so I can get some clarification.
Is that okay with everybody else?
Sure.
Fine with me.
Okay. So,
The heritage is, all right.
okay. Item C, Commission Seat 1, Heritage Commission Seat 1, Ms. Nagel. And are you here, Ms. Nagel?
Yes.
Yes, do you want to come up to the podium for me, please? Hey there. I believe we've heard from you a month or so ago,
Yes.
correct? And you're still interested in the Heritage Commission?
Yes, very much.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Nagel? No? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay,
Accept.
second.
thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for your service. Heritage Commission seat 4, Helen Hersey. Is this a reappointment?
This is a reappointment. Ms. Hershey does send her apologies. She went through a procedure and was not able to attend this evening. However, she has served on the Heritage Commission for quite some time.
Yeah,
And she has stated that she wants to stay on.
okay,
I would move her appointment.
okay.
Second.
Thank you. Any, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0. All right, we're at new business. Mr. Brown, you have agenda item A.
Yes. I have some questions, and some of it's going to be addressed to the attorney. And I'm doing this because you guys got to understand, we can't just go out here on the sidewalk and chit chat. We have to do it in a public meeting. So I have some things that have been brought up in the past. We even had a city manager at one time brought it up about the possibility of the city being, I guess, the sole owner, or not, so we are the owner, but the ones that are responsible for the airport. And instead of having an authority, special district, we would have something as a committee, like our heritage committees and stuff like that. The city of Palaca, and unfortunately I haven't made it over there, but I do know that the city of Palaca has their own airport. And I believe they run as a committee and not an authority. The reason I brought a lot of this is because of the change of hands in your management and stuff like that. And I understand that we as a city are going to have to step in and help out a little bit, which is fine. I mean, it is our airport. But it is something that if the council is willing to just take a 30-day break and look at the other options of maybe going back to having a committee instead of the authority and work it that way, I think it might behoove us to do that for right now.
And just for my clarification, this alternate setup, what does it achieve for you? What do you think it achieves?
I think it would achieve the council being more involved and keeping more of an understanding of what's the, not the day-to-day well, it is the day-to-day operations, because if there's a manager and the manager is placed as to a contract person, like our city manager. If our city manager, she answers to us, that manager would answer to us. The board would be someone that would come in every month, do their meetings, and run the airport in that way.
So-
Policymakers, basically. But the manager would be the one that oversees everything.
So in that scenario, what you're describing then is this is only my perception, is you're describing the board as, like the Heritage Commission, is simply an advisory board.
Right.
In other words, the manager would run the day-to-day operations, and they would be at 30,000-foot level versus being on the ground working.
Right. Right. And like I said, I haven't had the chance to go to Palaca and take a look at what they're doing. I just know over the years, it's been talked about and everything like that. And I think since a lot of things have changed in the past 3 months, so I think it would behoove us as a council to take 30 days and really investigate on our own and come back next month and discuss it. And that's the only reason I put it on here.
So you want a consensus tonight then from this council to allow staff to do the work and go figure that out?
Can we do that? I mean,
Is that what you're looking for? Who's going to do the work, Mr. Brown?
well, we have a staff, but I also think it wouldn't hurt us to maybe
Do your own research.
do our own research.
We are the legislative body, staff isn't, so the buck would stop here. Just as a general proposition, what would the city and the taxpayers and the city as a whole be gaining by changing the current paradigm?
Well, that's, Vice Mayor, that's why I brought it up.
Okay.
Right now, it's just something that's got brought up to me that I wanted to bring to the council and give us 30 days, and we can answer those questions.
I would like to have, not necessarily tonight, but have Rich speak to whether or not the Chinese wall that we have built between the city and the commission would be impaired, and that we might be incurring some liability on the part of the city taxpayers if there's a catastrophe at the airport, an accident or something. I'm not asking for an answer now, but that is something that would be, in my mind, that may be a reason not to make a change.
I would suggest that if this is the direction the council wishes to go, that you set up a separate workshop where you can all discuss some of these together, because like you talked about, there's liability issues. And I think what Councilman Brown's talking about is, you're calling it a committee, but I think you're talking about it like a city department, because that's how I think the city of Palatka is set up. The airport's a department, but even in Palatka, they still have an airport board that oversees that. So, and I'm not advocating for one direction over another. I'm just saying there's a lot that kind of goes with this. I would suggest you take a look at I think there's an ordinance from 91 or 94 that established the air park at that time. And then there's the ordinance in 2010 that really gives true independence to the airport, and maybe take a look at why your predecessors made the decisions that they did before you go forward.
Using the analogy to the Heritage Commission, way back when the city council was basically in charge of sub-U or whatever it is, and we had a nice ordinance talking about preservation, but nothing was getting done because the council was busy with other things, just too darn busy. And that's why the Heritage Commission was formed, so that you would have a body that could address the historic issues. I am concerned not only about the liability aspect, but about the workload aspect. And if in effect we are going to be shadowing what the airport board does, are we going to have time? And frankly, I know nothing about airports. I don't know a propeller from anything. So I'd just be concerned that we'd be heaping a lot of additional work and responsibility on the future councils. That's a secondary reason. The third reason is, if it ain't broke, let's not fix it.
Okay. Well, there is a council person who does have concerns. Actually, there's probably a second council person based on the agenda. So what I'd like to propose is ask staff to set up a workshop. I think that's an excellent idea. And all of those things can be aired out at a workshop.
I'm good with that.
Are you good with that? Are you good with that? Mr. Brown?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm looking at my calendar.
I'll look at some dates and consult with our attorney, get everybody together and make sure that everybody can
It needs
in
to be
attendance.
after the 11th of April.
As you wish, Madam Mayor. Congratulations.
Well, whatever date they choose, I would also recommend make sure we invite the
The airport
airport authority
Yes.
as
Oh,
well.
of course.
Invite all the peoples. All the players, stakeholders, whoever wants to be there.
Okay.
Does that address?
Yes, so let me ask, since this is on the table, can we still go ahead and appoint?
You can do whatever you want.
Yes.
You can appoint.
Well, let's let Ms. Thompson have her discussion item, and then maybe we'll go back,
Okay.
okay? So, but next is Mr. Bobby Brown's item, FDOT Concerns. Mr. Brown. So right here, FDOT Concerns, it's you?
Oh, yeah. I'm very concerned in some, sorry about that. I'm very concerned about the strip of Highway 2021 here through our city. We've been kicking around a water park. We've been kicking around some other things. And at best, a lot of times when we have events here, the curve here is, at best, it's dangerous because, you know, cars whipping around. They're at the given correct speed limit, it's, you know, you got to have your eyes open. If you're out of town, not expecting it, all of a sudden you got, you know, a bunch of people, kids, everything else in front of you. So I want the DOT possibly to look at, do an engineering study. And you can't really put a reduction in speed and the caution lights right in the middle of a curb. You're asking for accidents. Everybody doesn't have a new set of tires. You know, they hit on the brakes, but maybe some kind of a warning where we can, you know, warn out-of-towners, everybody else that there's something going on here. Maybe flashing lights that the sheriffs could turn on, or the city can turn on when there is an event or something. That just saving lives. That's you know, the time to do it is before anyone gets hurt and not when we have to call 911.
So, Ms. Rakowski, is that something that you would carry?
If it's the will of the council to discuss with FDOT adding additional flashing lights to caution for pedestrian crossing, I can tell you from past experiences with FDOT that we will not get a crosswalk closer to the beach just because of that blind curve. We cannot gather pedestrians closer to a potential issue or potential hazard. Legally, they need to cross at the crosswalk that we fought very hard for the library because the actual numbers didn't warrant the high visibility pedestrian crosswalk. But if council would like to add additional lights, one of the conversations that Councilman Brown had was the speed limit. This is your speed, flashing signs and things of that nature. So if it's the will of the council to have that conversation with FDOT to add those lights, then I'll absolutely entertain that, have that conversation with FDOT.
Is there a formula? I mean, isn't there some kind of formula?
Yes, there is.
They-
And they will have.
They also conduct traffic speed studies. So usually they have somebody that'll come out and take a look at a lot of different factors. It's not just how fast cars are moving along. And it sounds like that's what Councilman Brown's asking. And we can make the request from FDOT. I'm not sure what the answer will be.
Right.
Okay. Well,
Like
Skinner-
an engineering study.
Yeah, I have no problem with that.
What about elevated mirrors that would give people on this side of the curve some warning that there's somebody coming up, so that they have an extra 2 or 3 seconds to react?
And with all of this being FDOT right away, that's something that they would have to.
They would have to approve.
Yes.
But that-
Sometimes those mirrors can be a distraction, though.
Yeah.
So
From the
there's
driver.
formulas and things of that nature for that.
I know at one time there was a discussion about having perhaps the roundabout there. I think that was set out to the curb, no pun intended, pretty quickly, because it was highly unpopular with the people in town.
I think that the roundabout
It's-
conversation has
It's a dead
died.
duck.
The sad thing is, most of the wrecks that we've had there were people that lived here. They should have known about that curve,
Yeah.
so.
Well, and that's it with any of our local roads, is you get comfortable, feel that you
Yep.
can navigate through, so, it is unfortunate, but most of our wrecks do occur from local residents.
Okay, so I think there was a consensus.
I'll have that conversation with FDOT.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Council supervision of Keystone Airport, Ms. Thompson?
Well, I'm just going to tag on to what Tony was talking about with the airport. I think the airport's doing some great things. I think that, I don't think enough people know about the airport that are new in town, honestly. And I think that it would be wonderful to have some oversight of the airport and from this council. That's basically what I wanted to say. But we can work on it with the workshop.
Okay,
Talk about it in the workshop.
awesome. Anything else about supervision of airport? Anyone? All right, there will be a workshop. Item D, CDBG Urban Requalification Letter. Ms. Rakowski?
Yes, Madam Mayor, last week or the week before last, I both you and I received a letter from Clay County regarding our CDBG status. They are proposing two different means. One is that any CDBG funding that we apply for as a city, we apply for as part of Clay County. If we do that, then it does not allow us to apply for, or to seek funding for the small cities program that is held within the CDBG. Would be forfeiting that right if we apply through Clay County. The other alternative is for the city of Keystone Heights to apply on their own, like we have done in the past years. This, I believe, carries us through 2025. We do have opportunities to apply for a small cities grant, and I believe that once we go through our parks program, our ecotourism program, and are able to apply for some of those funding, that it would probably be in our best interest to stay separate from the county with CDBG, so we are able to apply for those funding on our own.
So your recommendation is to decline the requalification letter?
If the council is interested in seeking our own CDBG funding within the next couple of years, yes.
What is the will of the council?
One of the big advantages of being a city in Florida is we have home rule. And once you start chipping away at home rule, why be a city? I think it would be wise to maintain the current paradigm.
The current paradigm is that we are partners with Clay County, is that correct? This is a requalification letter, so
That's correct.
so we have been partners or applying for CDBG through the Clay County.
We have been applying on our own.
That
So
would
if
be my recommendation, to continue with that.
So we would continue to reapply on our own. We would
Okay.
not be lumped in with Clay County.
Okay,
I agree.
all right. Do you need a vote?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay. What is the will of the council?
I move that we maintain the status quo.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. Item E, letter of support for Clay EDC Airport Project. Ms. Rakowski.
Yes, Madam Mayor, in your packet is a memorandum from the Clay County EDC from Mr. Crawford Powell. This is in regarding some funding that's available through their Economic Defense Reinvestment Grant. This will allow EDC to fund a study for site-ready property within the airport, and then they will work with the City of Keystone Heights and the Airport Authority to establish what those boundaries are. This is just a consensus from council that you wish to move forward when EDC is ready to identify that space.
Let's build it.
Need a motion?
Do you need a motion?
Just a consensus at this time.
Consensus. She wants consensus.
She got it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. We're in agreement.
Thank you.
Committee reports, budget and finance.
Madam Mayor, can we skip back up to
Oh,
4A
yes, we can.
and B, please?
We're going back to 4A and 4B. Mr. Fryer, would you like to come to the podium?
Madam Mayor.
So you want to hang out again?
Yeah, I love
Some
that
more.
airport. You haven't figured that out now?
I think I can get in the picture.
Yep. Yes, I think you all know me. I think I've been on there 11 years now, so I do enjoy it. And you're right, we're making some fantastic strides out there. We've got expansion going on. I'd really like to see this Rockland project through. This could impact this community in a huge way. It's a $20 million project. We're waiting on the environmental audit to come back, but yes, I would definitely like to stay on the board.
Any questions for Mr. Fryer?
I move his reappointment.
Okay,
Second.
thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
You're back on. Mr. Kirkland, would you like to come forward, please? You want to hang out
Good
some more,
evening.
too?
Can I address that a little bit?
Absolutely.
When you want me to do the report? Now?
We're going to vote yea or nay for your appointment.
Do you have anything to share, any words of wisdom?
as I shared with the council last month, I'm very proud of our staff. I'm very proud of our board because we oversee a lot of major projects, a lot of local events that have an impact. Within that, as I mentioned, you've never had an agency, federal or state, come before this dais with any complaint about the Keystone Airport. Now, that's credited to a good board, but it's more credited to a great staff. And I do realize that we've lost Miss Maria Searcy. There's plans in place to replace her at the appropriate time. But I am concerned that there's concerns about changes that Mr. Tony Brown, Councilman Brown, has mentioned that would have the council consider eliminating the special or separate dependent district that was put in place in 1991 by a city council to provide that layer of liability protection, as well as to run the day-to-day operations of the airport. We employ 3 full-time with a manager, 3 full-time people, and 2 part-time. One of them is sitting here on this front row, and she can tell you how many hours that she spends on a lawnmower. There are hours that Ms. Searcy spends dealing with the FAA and the FDOT. And she's done a great job of it. By the fact that no one from those agencies have come to the city manager and said, hey, there's an issue at the airport, we got to address it. So I honestly feel like maybe I haven't done the job I should do as chairperson. I've been on the board for 14 years, been the chair for half that time. And I guess I'm just disappointed that I hear that you guys are disappointed with what we've done. When in reality, there's been some huge strides made at the airport. It's now a $12 million entity. That's yours. It belongs to the city. And we gladly share that with everybody that we talk to. Yeah, we're the airport authority, but it belongs to the city of Keystone Heights. Those forefathers were very wise in saying to the Department of Defense, we'll take it, when Bradford County and Clay County commissioners said, we don't want it. It's a huge asset. I think it's the jewel of North Florida. And it's growing. It's growing. We have a lot of interest. Just waiting on some things to go through the channels, CCUA, as far as water sewer. With Bradford County and the West Side Development and the new road entrances that we put appropriations requests in for, that's going to just benefit the airport even more. And as we saw in this last snowbird contest, a lot of our local businesses have benefited from that event. And so I think there's some good things going on at the airport. I am disappointed. I'll be very transparent with you and say I am disappointed and concerned. I do know I can direct you to a member that used to serve on the Palatka Advisory Committee, Mr. Jeff Hathorn. He can tell you exactly how that went with the city, and it wasn't always pleasant, but he can share that. But if you have confidence in me to reappoint me, then I'll serve until the workshop, and whatever is resolved from there, then we can move forward from there. So, thank you.
Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion, we accept his application.
Is there a second? Thank
Second
you.
that.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes 5-0. We're on to committee reports, budget and finance. Nothing there. Growth management, Vice Mayor Hart.
No report.
The airport authority, Mr. Kirkland.
All right, some good things. The taxi lane rehabilitation project, we're now in phase 4, and it's progressing with no issues to date. The design phase for the new lighting of runway 1129 is completed. Bids will be received this month, and construction is projected to begin in May. Both of these projects are 100% funded by FDOT, and, just these are FDOT. We're still waiting for the FAA to provide the final documents on the environmental assessment. They had projected the end of February, then it was the end of March, and now we find ourselves in April. I guess that's what we have to deal with when dealing with a bureaucracy like the FAA. I'm hoping our engineer Bill Prang will have an update for us tomorrow night at our board meeting. And hope it's good news that they finally got it all finished. I mentioned earlier the IAC Aerobatic Snowbird contest was a great success. Both pilots, crews, competition coordinators, they expressed their appreciation to the airport staff and the board members that were helping and assisting in that event. We had a lot of local spectators that came out and enjoyed, if you will, an air show. I mean, technically it wasn't an air show, it's a competition. And our parking lot was full. The vacant lot across the road had a lot of vehicles in it with people in lawn chairs and just sitting back enjoying it. And we even had a lot of transit pilots that flew in as well to enjoy the event. So overall, a really great success, and we look forward to working with that group in the future next year. Special thanks in advance to the city for providing some assistance in tomorrow night's board meeting. Obviously, with Ms. Cersei gone, I think Ms. Jennifer's coming out to do the minutes for us, and Garrett, I believe, is going to come out and do the video, so we appreciate that. Thank you in advance for that. On Friday evening, we celebrated Maria's semi-retirement. I say semi because she is going to continue to work part-time with us until these 2 FAA FDOT projects are completed, which should wrap up in about August. Maria had been with us for 12 years, 12 plus years, wow. 12 years, 6 months, I don't remember. I had the days all figured out. And that position changed so much. I shared Friday night that when she was hired in December of 2010, that she was told, well, you got to answer a few phone calls, and you'll do a little bit of financial stuff, and occasionally when somebody comes in, a tenant, you'll have to talk to them. Well, then it was, oh, by the way, you need to learn how to drive the Jet A truck and then learn how to fuel helicopters and airplanes requiring Jet A fuel. So even from then, her job description has changed dramatically because it was more than day to day. It was the times that we went to clay days together and rule days together. And we were meeting with legislators and talking about appropriations requests and meeting with civic organizations and even coming here. So she was a great team leader, a huge asset that we've lost, but we believe that there is someone out there that's going to be able to fill her shoes, not maybe as quickly as we would like, but that's with any kind of job replacement. So I know if you're watching Maria, I'm still bitter. That was the thing I had with her. I was teasing her all the time. Last thing, no response from CCUA yet on the feasibility study that the city helped pay for and the airport paid for with respect to water sewer. Still waiting on Jeremy to get back to us with what their proposal might be.
Okay.
Any questions?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. And anything else from the Heritage Committee tonight? Anything? Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped over Ms. Lynn, but we'll go back to you. You can come forward.
Thank you again.
Yes?
I just want to say that the Heritage Commission is having an event this Thursday from 9 o'clock till 1 o'clock. And this is going to be historic, truly, because we've invited 110 students from the elementary school, 4th graders, yay. And they are going to learn about the history of Keystone Heights, starting at the pavilion. That's where they're going to meet. Miss Nina is going to be doing a overview kind of presentation, day in the life 100 years ago if you were 9. And so from that perspective, it is going to be a really fun event for the kids that are coming, along with 20 of the teachers. So everyone will be learning about Keystone
That's fantastic.
and the history.
Yeah.
From there, we're breaking them up into different groups. I think we have 4 or 5 different groups. And then they will go to and rotate, basically, to a Chautauqua Circle, if you will, that we have set up at the nature park. And then they will learn about what that was in Keystone and how it was formed throughout the country and what all that was about. They will also learn about the pavilion. From there, they're going to take a set of kids over to the tourism, what do we call it here? The thing across the street, kind of the Welcome Center. Thank you. They're going to go to the Welcome Center and walk through there. From there, they'll see the original sign from the Keystone Inn and a lot of different big photographs of Keystone back in the day. From there, they go into the pavilion, over to the gazebo in the park to see the historic marker of the inn. I'll be personally talking to them about the inn and all that went on in the history of Keystone there. Then they go back across the street to the park for their lunch. So all in all, it's going to be a really great day for them. And it's going to be a very fun first year, but I think we will be starting to do this annually.
Nice. That's fantastic.
The next event we have coming up is our Mother's Day event. Can I approach the council?
Absolutely.
I just want to say that our own Christina made that flyer.
Nice.
She did a fantastic job. We are having our second historic annual Mother's Day tour of homes. It's going to be a tour of homes of, I believe, 16 properties, 17 properties, and they'll all be on this side of the street. They'll meet at the pavilion on the day before Mother's Day, which is Saturday, the
May
13th. And from there, everyone can take a self-guided tour, but they will be given, flyers with all the different homes and a little bit about each home. The first 50 people that come will be given a Mother's Day rose, and we're going to ask Clyde's again to serve some refreshments.
Nice.
So those are the 2 events that we have coming up. Thank you very much.
Thank you. No, we appreciate your work. I know last year's historic tour of homes was really wonderful, and I know there was a really nice turnout. So look forward to growing the event. Planning and zoning, Ms. Burkowski?
Just for council's awareness, myself as well as our city engineer did meet with Mr. Wiggins, who is now the new property owner of the 14 acres formerly known as Country Meadows. He will be changing the name. He's looking at the documents that was provided to him by Country Meadows as well as the city, and then we probably will anticipate some additional conversations moving forward in the upcoming months. So that is progressing. And then the 37 acres that the 37 acres that he has at the moment, he's putting that on the back burner. He's going to take care of the 14 acres first. And as everybody knows and has heard from word of mouth, Popeyes Chicken has started their construction.
Broken ground.
And if you listen to word of mouth, we're getting everything from a Publix to anything else that you can possibly imagine.
And fit within 4 square miles.
Buc-ee's.
Yes. Buc-ee's was one of them. We did have a call that asked us if it was for real, if we were getting a Buc-ee's here in Keystone Heights. And so sadly, no, Buc-ee's will not go on that property.
Hey, we got room at the airport.
Yeah, exactly. But it's not happening in Keystone Heights. That is in fact a Popeyes, and they're scheduled to work through the summer with the fall opening.
Nice.
And that's all I have for planning and zoning.
Okay. All right, we're down to council comments. I'll start with Mr. Hart.
Just one in general. I'm glad to see that the handoff has gone well with the Heritage Commission, and everybody's got some great ideas, and I do appreciate your hard work.
Thank you. You got it. Something crawling on the desk.
Yes.
She got it. Any comments, Ms. Thompson?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Brown?
None of this,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
All
Y'all
right.
settle in.
Mayor, I would just like to say this is your last meeting,
It is?
and someone gave you a nice orchid.
Yes, it was
And,
lovely, Miss Barbara.
And I will tell you that you and I have had some rough and rocky roads and rivers and oceans in the past few years. But I just want to commend you for serving your citizens of this city as mayor.
Thank you.
And thank you very much.
I second that.
Thank you.
I will third that.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. I do, when thinking back over these 6.5 years, it's interesting. It's kind of like, what do you take away from those 6.5 years? And so I kind of made a list of the things that we have achieved. And, when you start making a list, you don't really realize until you see the full list just exactly how much we've done. And some of the things we did, we fixed the retention pond. How many times do we hear complaints about the retention pond? We had an engineer look at it. It was wonderful. All of the beach improvements at the pavilion, the fencing, the painting, the picnic tables, the Edison lights, the hot tables for Wi-Fi. There's been the pickleball court, and I want to say to you and Steve, I can relate, because when I campaigned, the hot ticket at that time was pickleball. And everyone I talked to said, would you please build us a pickleball court? And it took a couple of years. So it doesn't happen immediately once you get on council, but it took a couple of years, and we finally got a pickleball court. And recently, I've been really encouraged to see young men holding tournaments out at that pickleball court, and they just park their trucks right up at the pickleball court and bring out their little lawn chairs and sit down and enjoy themselves. And that's wonderful to see. And that's what we can do when we all have that shared vision. Today, we approved some facade grants. That's going to really change the way downtown looks. It's going to make it fresh. It's going to be something we can be even more proud of. That's important. And it continues the streetscape plans, which you guys will finish working on. You'll establish some plans for the parks, which I think is an important organizational tool, right? Because it allows the city to go out and ask for more money. And so all of these things are really important. I think the things that really come to me that make me really proud of what we've done and how I've participated is, and I know this sounds not funny to you guys, but funny to me, I love recognizing what other people are doing. I think it's on us to acknowledge what they do and how they do it and how long they do it. And so I'm really appreciative that we have been able to recognize individuals who contribute to our quality of life. And then all the other organizations, my life's really not going to change so much. I won't be chairing meetings anymore, but I will still be doing all of the things that have really attracted me to this community. And so I'm looking forward to continuing those things. And so with that, I'll move to Ms. Rakowski.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, and thank you for your years of service. I do have a couple of announcements and a couple of things to discuss with council, and I'll try to be brief. First, I spoke with each of you prior to the meeting about the business development and incentives for the Clay EDC. I will get with each of you individually on what days, either Wednesday or Thursday, if you choose to go to Fleming Island and participate in that one-on-one. Second is going to be the beach cleanup day. Just a reminder, it's going to be April 14th from 9 to 1. So put on your gloves, bring out your boots and rakes and everything else, and let's help get our beach ready for moto surf and fantastic events that we've got coming on. Our third one is just a reminder for Clay Day. We will be heading to Tallahassee on April 19th and 20th to go talk to our legislators about some of the priorities for the city of Keystone Heights and the Keystone Heights Airport. We will be coming in hot on 2 wheels for motor surf in our spring fling that begins on the 20th, that Thursday. MotoSurf will have a public academy, so again, you can go and try out one of the motorized surfboards if you wish. I spoke with Martin late last week or sometime last week. We've got some exciting new things that are going to be happening with MotoSurf and MotorSkate. So I strongly encourage council to come out that day and support that event. We have Food Truck Friday that's happening on the 21st, and this is going to be a big Food Truck Friday as Martin and his staff have agreed to put on some demos in between some live music that we have courtesy of Hang 11. So we're very, very excited to have multiple food trucks, a live band, and then MotoSurf demonstrations for Food Truck Friday on the 21st. We have our Spring Fling in conjunction with the big races that are happening on the 22nd, and then the 23rd will be MotoSkate, as well as the finals for MotoSurf. So a very big weekend. And then, not to put anything else involved into that week, but Thursday, the 20th, is the Florida League of Cities dinner. It will be held, I believe, in Neptune Beach this year. So if you are not going to Tallahassee and you want to participate in that drive, please make sure that you let Miss Christina know so that she can RSVP. Last but certainly not least, we are looking at holding our first 2 ecotourism and parks planning event down at Keystone Pavilion. We're looking at the 25th and 26th of this month, and that'll be open. It'll be the same event, inviting the public to come put in their input on priorities. Once our engineering firm has gathered all of that data, then they'll do a presentation and a workshop with council as well as our stakeholders. We're talking Clay County Tourism, Clay County Economic Development, things of that nature, so we can get together a fantastic master plan and we can move forward with grabbing some funding by the end of May. And that is all that I have, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. Commando.
Yes, Madam Mayor, thank you. I just want to, thank you for your public service. You know, you and I started working together during charter review, and then to watch you become part of council, your passion is admirable, and, you know, it's something that I think is truly recognized by your community, so thank you.
Thank you.
I also want to bring up, you know, with the transition to new council member, people, I hope, remember that we still have an election. It is a vote by mail election. All of the charter amendments that were worked on diligently by the Charter Review Committee are up for consideration. So please, if you haven't already done so, remember to get your ballots into the Supervisor of Elections. And finally, I hope everyone has a happy Easter. Thanks.
Yes, thank you. Yes, sir. You want to come to the podium? Are you going to speak?
I just wanted to just remind everybody at the Easter Sunday, the
Sunrise
service down at
service.
the beach, if you're interested in going.
Kiwanis is sponsored. 6:30 a.m.
Thank you, Karen.
And I do have one more thing. We have received some fantastic feedback regarding the beach vandalism. Sheriff Cook did call me earlier, shortly after we did post. Thank you to our partners at CCSO for coming out and heading over to the school. So things are looking good. So just a public reminder, if you see something, please say something. We have on our website, our Facebook page, the non-emergency number for CCSO, as well as download the Safer Watch app so that we can maybe help prevent some of these actions from happening. There's a power in numbers. So again, thank you very much to our Sheriff's Office.
Right. Anything else for the good of the order? And one last time. Here we are. There you go.